Hey, what's up, guys? This is a quick vlog. I'm not going to waste any time on an introduction. I just wanted to make a record of everything I lost in a recent flood. My entire EU collection was affected. The good news is that I fared a lot better than I initially thought, but there still was a pile of things that just got utterly destroyed, and I sort of want to make a record, partially for myself, of the things that I'm about to chuck that I need to eventually retrack down. And I also thought it's sort of a fun kind of insight into some of the more deep cuts in my collection. So I wanted to just do a really quick video, go through some of this stuff, and see what we find here. This is something. Just starting with this. This is another one of the things I have from my collection from Lucasfilm Licensing. Just one of the pamphlets from the mid late '90s that they were sending to potential partners, hyping everything coming down the pike. Additional books, additional series, the prequels themselves. That's pretty cool. One of the things I'm the saddest about that got affected is my in general were my RPG magazines, particularly my non-Star Wars related RPG magazines that nonetheless contain EU stories. Dragon Radu was one that just got just absolutely blasted. And Yeah, this is an early edition here, number 5. Here's 17, which is actually one of the ones that contains Star Wars magazine. I have a complete set of this run. The good news is only 3 of the magazines actually contain Star Wars content, and one of the magazines was completely safe. It wasn't anywhere near this pile that was basically took a direct hit from the water. But this one, I tried everything I could do to save it, and it's just, I mean, everything's stuck together. It's as hard as a rock. This entire thing here is literally a brick. There's something in the nature of the glossy of the magazine pages. It just sticks together. It's just unfortunate. Here's Valkyrie magazine number 14 from the UK. Contains a Star Wars story. The good news there is that I'm so sloppy about cataloging some of my magazine intake is that I actually have 2 of those copies. I actually bought it twice, so I've got it somewhere else. This is kind of cool. Del Rey samplers from 2013 and 2012. 2012, really hard to find. Really, really, really hard to find. Now, why do I have these? Not just because I picked them up at cons, but because they contain stories inside. Now, nothing new, but if you're someone who's interested in this, having more on the shelf, if you like having things physically in print, rather than tucked away in a magazine that's hard to display on a shelf or what have you, what's great about these is they actually, in addition to snippets of books that were coming down the pike, they actually contain the full sort of short stories for a number of things that were like in Star Wars Insider. So let's take a quick look here. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So things like Buyer's Market, Zahn story from, Insider 126, and Lebo Mix 3 from 128, and Fair Trade by Paul Kemp from from 129. Now, in addition to lots of other excerpts from, upcoming books, Scoundrels and Annihilation, and the list goes on and on. But yeah, it's really cool. These are both, just like I say, fun ways for you to take what might just be in a magazine, but it's just big enough to sort of fit up on your shelf alongside your book. So it's another neat way of getting access to these stories that some sort of find slightly difficult to sort of access. There's something underneath 12 or the 2013 here that I actually am super sad about that I can't show you, but I'll just sort of tease. And it's actually the manuscript to an EU book that was put together even with art that was never released, and that's as much of it as I can show you. And it's gone, unfortunately. This kind of pisses me off because this is on the one hand completely irrelevant to EU, the EU storyline. I mean, these episode 1 game books, they're they're literally just they're literally just rules and ideas for how to play some games and stuff based on the sort of the corresponding episode 1 sort of adventures storybooks, right? But it got kind of messed up, and these things are just so expensive. Pod Race to Freedom, so that's going to be a real pain in the butt to recollect. Do I need it? Well, on the one hand, if I'm just concerned about story, no. But I am a total completist. I want everything that ever existed pre, April 2014. So unfortunately, I have to get it. This is a bummer. This is super slight, but this is sort of the extent of some of the damage of some of my books. You can sort of see that it's kind of warped there. And I'm on the fence about whether things like this I'll just end up keeping, and I just want to keep an eye on them to make sure they don't get moldy over time. But I mean, look how beautiful and pristine I've kept that copy over these years, right? And just to know that it got ruined. The good news is I have quite a few from this series signed by the authors. This was not one of the ones that was affected. Here's another example of what I'm talking about. You know, it's my hardcover, Order 66. You can see that water damage. Again, I think long run, this probably is going to be something I keep. It's just got to keep an eye on it to make sure it doesn't get moldy, but it still just kills me to think that, it's just disgusting. Now, this one is clearly one that just, it's got to go. You know, it's my Lost Tribe of the Sith. I mean, look at that. It's just, I mean, it's beautiful on this side, right? But then you look at the, so that is not going to fit nicely on the shelf. You can see how warped it is there. Interesting about this came out pretty late in the game, pre-reboot. And this is one of those few books that, I should clarify, I want everyone to buy books with Legends banners. And who knows, maybe this is my opportunity in a couple of cases to finally buy something with a Legends banner. But this is one of those books that I've seen speculation about. Some people don't actually remember that this actually did come out pre-Legends banner, and this is just proof of that. Unfortunately, mine's going to get thrown away. Here's some other things too. You know, I've got a collection of sort of like nonfiction books about Star Wars. I did a video review of this a couple of years ago, and this just got wrecked. What else is in here? Oh, you know, old West End game stuff. I mean, it just got super soggy, and then this just started folding up, and it's just, you can just sort of see it's all messed up. So sad. One of the saddest things that got taken away for me in the flood was this, which is my original copy of Splinter the Mind's Eye, and you can see how well loved it is. I mean, I've probably owned this longer than really anything in my entire Star Wars collection. I mean, this is something I had basically from, you know, nearly when it came out. So some of the damage is just, you know, me having, you know, loved it, you know, very well over the years, but all that puffiness and everything, that's that water. I mean, it just got completely, it was like a sponge. It's really sad, really, really sad to see that one go. I'm trying to see if there's anything else in here. Oh, this sucks. Yeah, this is one I'm always fond of, and I feel like I talked about this recently, but it's the strategy guide for Galactic Battlegrounds. There's not many strategy guides that I would recommend people get, but this actually has a really substantive story inside. Anyway, that's just sort of a quick take. Tons of RPG mags got destroyed. Tons of irreplaceable things. Some stuff that I'm even like sensitive to show folks, like they're that rare. But what are you gonna do? You know, hopefully one day we'll have shelves up on the wall and we can display it all at once. But in the meantime, fun little record of some of the deep cut stuff that got lost. You know, it's one of the upsides and the downsides to sort of still maintaining, you know, physical books in the digital era. It's a pain in the ass to move. It's a pain in the ass to display. And unfortunately, they're more likely to get hurt, right? On the other hand, I wouldn't have done nothing differently, right? Even now, there's still something fun about going through, even what is ultimately going to go in the trash can. It's just fun to see these again. They've definitely given me a lot of joy over the years. And the nice thing about being a collector, too, is that you get to a point where you kind of have gotten everything from some sort of category thing you want to collect. And there's a certain sadness because you realize half of the fun is the hunt, right? Well, you know what? The hunt's on again, and in a weird way, I finally get to recollect these things, and that's really great. So, anyway, that's what happened in the flood. I will definitely not be storing my books in the same part of the house anymore.